Hey there, welcome back to the channel. Thanks for being here. Well, it's time for another Tools and Tech Tuesday, and today we have the Ryobi Speed Saw. And there's lots of good things to say about this thing, but there's a couple of reasons you may not want to get it. But first, let's do a 30-second unboxing. Man, I can remember as a kid watching commercials and seeing Bob Vila advertising for the RotoZip. And that's essentially what this thing is it's Ryobi's version of the RotoZip. I remember sitting there thinking, man, that thing could be all kinds of handy. You could do a lot of cool stuff with that thing. What's cool about this too is that it's not a corded tool. It takes the Ryobi batteries, so you just take it anywhere and not have to worry about plugging in. You can see here that it comes with a wrench, a collet adapter so you can put in smaller blades, and 2 blades. Although it doesn't tell you what material those blades are for. Alrighty, now that you've seen it close up, why don't you come along with us as we take it for its maiden voyage. But first, let me show you real quick how to operate it. To change the bit is pretty simple. All you have to do is put your thumb on the collet lock, put the wrench on there, turn it. Put it back on. Pulling down the collet lock again while I'm tightening it. That's it. Adjust the height, turn this, and this lifts up and down. So this is how short it goes, that's how tall it goes. As you can see though, if you have it too far up, it doesn't seem like it's completely square. Power switch. Alright, here we are cutting out some damaged drywall on the ceiling to patch it up. This is 1/2 inch drywall on the ceiling. I think it's really handy that you can set this thing for the exact depth to match the thickness of the drywall that you're patching. That way, you know that you're not going to be hitting any plumbing or electrical wires. Later, I tried it on some different materials. Alright, let's try this thing out on some paneling. Okay, so you could make some really weird, odd-shaped cuts. Alright, how about this old fascia board that's been on the garage for at least 4 decades? Well, it's going, but it was slow. Alright, how about 1/2-inch plywood? How quickly or slow does it go? When trying to cut this 1/2-inch plywood, the thing stalled multiple times. Maybe I was using the wrong bit, because it came with 2 bits, but it didn't have them labeled as to what material each bit was for. As a matter of fact, it didn't even say 1 drywall bit included and 1 wood bit included or 1 tile bit included. It didn't say any of that. It just had them in there. After it stopped several times, this happened, and it kind of freaked me out. But all was good because I took off the battery, let it set for a couple minutes, put the battery back on, and it started up again. Okay. 1/2-inch plywood is no go. Okay, that's how far we got on our 1/2-inch plywood. So that's how far we got on the 1/2-inch plywood. There's the bit I'm using. I don't know if it's the right bit because the package didn't label what it's for. So. Alright, there you go. There's a look at the Ryobi speed saw. It's a RotoZip rotary type tool, and I think it's pretty cool. However, it's great for certain applications. One of the things that you're going to want to think about is what material you're cutting and make sure you have the right blade. It didn't seem like it wanted to work very well with that 1/2-inch plywood, but it worked great for the drywall, and it worked great for some thinner plywood too. So I think it just depends on what material you're cutting, and it's supposed to be able to do tile and wood and drywall. It's supposed to be able to do a bunch of different materials, but if it starts stopping on you a lot like it did on me with that plywood, I wouldn't push it too far because you don't want to burn the motor out. So I'd say that overall the bottom line on this thing is if you're buying it for its designed purposes, it works really well. If you want to put up new drywall and you want to cut around outlets or switches, it works great. If you want to cut fancy designs or precision work on some wood, if maybe you're building a bookcase, something like that, then this could work really well for that. However, it's not going to replace a circular saw or a Sawzall. So if you're going to get this thing, just keep those limitations in mind, that you're not going to be wanting to cut through a bunch of thick wood. It's just going to take way too long, if it'll even do it. Second, when you have the guide way down here, it's got a pretty good 90-degree angle from the blade to the guide, and it'll run along whatever you're cutting, and of course the blade runs through whatever you're cutting. But when you lift this up, it starts to skew over to the side. It's no longer flat 90 degrees. It's more like it's tilted this way a little bit. So that could definitely mess up your cut if you have this too far up. Third, if you're cutting against the ceiling or a wall, you're not going to be able to get all the way over to the edge, because not only is the guide going to stop you, but the tool itself and the battery in the tool actually protrude out a ways from the blade. So you can only get so close before you would hit the wall. So one thing I'd like to point out is that if you are trying to get to the edge of the ceiling or the wall or whatever, let's pretend that the ceiling was drywall and I was trying to get to the edge to patch it. You can't get all the way up. Even if the molding wasn't there, you still have a gap between the blade and the edge of the guide. So This is good for things where you don't have to get right up to the edge of the wall or the ceiling or whatever you're cutting. It does a good job, but there is that limitation. So the fact that you won't be able to get right up to the edge when you're cutting is that third limitation to keep in mind. Let me know in the comments if you have any questions for me, and let me know if you've used this tool or anything similar. I think it'd be really cool to get my hands on one of the originals, so if you've used one of those, let me know about that too. Thanks again for watching the video. See you next time. Gonna have to skip this part. Alright, to change the bit, it's pretty simple. Push down the collet lock with your thumb. Put the wrench on there. Yeah, sure. There we go. Alright, to change it. Yeah. Alright, to change. Hey there, welcome back to the channel. Thanks for being here. Well, it's time for... Hey there, welcome back to the channel. Thanks for being here. Well, it's time for another Tools and Tech Tuesday, and today we have the Ryobi... I goofed it up again. Well, it's time for another Tools and Tech Tuesday, and today we have the Ryobi... Hey there, welcome back to the channel. Thanks for being here. Well, it's time for another Tools and Tech Tuesday, and today we have the Ryobi... Whoops. And a couple of things that you may want to consider before you buy it that you may not... Alright, that should be good. Hopefully. Yeah. Alright, so now that you've seen it close up, let's take it for its maiden... I think it's handy that you can set this thing to the exact depth of the thickness. Try that again. Just for me, and let me know if you've Fine. Number one, it's not going to cut through a bunch of thick wood like 2x4s. It's not going to replace.